What's good, everybody? This is your guy Manny, and this is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. So today, man, we talking Commanders, man. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what the vibes are. So Nashville, Tennessee, you guys are probably wondering, why am I getting on so early today? I got to get on early today because we're snowed in pretty much. I mean, the roads are bad, but I've still been kind of, doing my thing. But talking Commanders today, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about this game versus the Giants. We're going to talk about this preview versus the 49ers. We're going to talk the Pro Bowl selection and all these different things. I'm going to run my intro, and we're going to go ahead and get this show on and popping. Let's get it. So, guys, once again, this is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. For everybody who supports what I do, I appreciate you guys. For those who support the Commanders, I do Lakers things. I do fantasy football, fantasy basketball, NBA, NFL. I do it all. So it's like a buffet table when you come to the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. But this is the Back Row Commanders show. Got some big news coming up. The Back Row Commanders show is going to be changing its name. And I'm going to let you guys know what that new name for the podcast is going to be. I'm signing a deal with a new network. So I'm excited about that. So the Back Row Commander show will be no more. Possibly this might be the last episode as the Back Row Commander show. I will definitely keep you guys posted. But like I said, man, let's talk about this game between the Commanders and the Giants, man. Look, I was on the way to ATL, had some business to take care of. So already I couldn't sit down and watch the Sunday night game. So I was already pissed off. So I was driving. Well, my uncle was driving and I was in the passenger seat. And I'm watching the game on my phone. And, it's tripping. We're going through mountains and everything. And I'm seeing that we're struggling. Okay. So the biggest thing has been Taylor Heinicke. But let me go ahead and just hit you guys with the stats and the goods and the bads of this game. So the Commanders lost 20-12, right? We can only score 12 points. It's something sad, okay? There seems to be a curse surrounding Ron Rivera and the Commanders. Ever since Ron Rivera has been here, he's done some good things, but can the Commanders ever get over, what is it? How many wins? 7 wins? 7 wins 2 years ago, 7 wins last year, and then 7 wins right now with an opportunity at your house, opportunity at your crib to go ahead and beat the Giants and then end up being 5-1 with being in position to literally make the playoffs. But you go ahead and lose to the Giants. And now the Giants are in there at that 6th seed, and we're at the 7th seed for now. And you have the Lions who are 7-7. They're coming up. They're playing Carolina this week. You have Jonathan Allen saying, hey, we need the stands to be filled. We need the fans to come out. I'm going to buy tickets. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Whether the fans showed up or not, the players didn't show up. So it's like a lot of times Commanders, players and coaches or whoever, they talk the talk, but they don't back it up. So this is 3 straight years of 7 wins. I'm not saying that we're going to lose out. We're playing San Francisco next, tomorrow. They are not a joke. Then we play the Browns, who Deshaun Watson is starting to get a little bit more comfortable, right? Then you play Dallas, who might still be playing for their playoff lives in terms of seeding and positioning. So that does not mean that they necessarily rest their players unless they just feel like, you know what, we're fine with the 3rd or 4th seed or 5th seed or whatever the case may be. So it's a lot of football to be played. But at the same time, if I told you guys that I'm confident heading into this game versus the 49ers, I would be lying. I would be lying. So once we look at this game right here, Daniel Jones didn't do much. You know what I'm saying? 160 yards passing. So, we contained Daniel Jones. But the thing was, we didn't apply any pressure. Daniel Jones had no sacks, no turnovers, no nothing. Daniel Jones just did solid. He was just solid. He was solid. 32 pass attempts, 21 completions, 160 yards. If you look at that and you'll say, man, we played really good defense versus Daniel Jones. But that is not the case. That's not the case. Saquon Barkley was solid, 18 carries, 18 carries, 87 yards, and a touchdown. We've been solid against the run, okay? And even in the past game, we did some good things. We shut down some of these guys like Richie James, Hodges, Slayton. So what was the problem? Why is it that the Commanders were not able to be successful to grab this win? Well, let's go ahead and flip to the other side of things. You have Taylor Heinicke, who had 29 pass attempts, right? He completed 17, 249 yards, 1 touchdown. It was a funny game because Taylor Heinicke did not have a good game. He also fumbled twice, and both of his fumbles is pretty much what cost us the game. He didn't throw a pick, but he had 2 gigantic fumbles. He was sacked 3 times. So, like I said, losing 2 fumbles is as good as throwing two interceptions. I mean, Taylor just wasn't good at all, right? You have Brian Robinson Jr., who had 12 carries for 89 yards. He was averaging 7.4 yards per carry. 7.4 yards per carry, and he only gets 12 carries. Not only that, Brian Robinson established himself very early in the game. So that means keep running the ball. The Commanders passed the ball 29 times. We ran the ball 26 times. That's not a recipe for success. I've always told you guys, anytime that the Commanders pass more than they run, they have a higher chance to lose the game. So with all this being said, I mean, I am literally so pissed off that he only got 12 carries. Matter of fact, I had Brian Robinson Jr. in fantasy. He had a touchdown that was called back. I mean, we got so much to dive into in this game that it's not even funny right now. The only bright spot of this game is that Jahan Dotson had 4 receptions for 105 yards and a touchdown. And Terry had a decent game. Terry had 6 receptions, 70 yards. So it's not a bad game for Terry. I didn't even realize that Terry had this good of a game. But, you know, he caught all 6 of his targets. If you're going to pass the ball, right, you definitely were hitting the right guys, which is Curtis Samuel had 5. Terry had 6. Dotson had 6. So the receivers, those 3 caught the bulk of their carries. I mean, caught the bulk of their passes. Now, Brian Robinson Jr. had 1 reception for 18 yards. The guy was very effective. Another game of over 100 yards from scrimmage. He was solid. Then you ask yourself, what did Antonio Gibson do? Antonio Gibson had 5 carries, 21 yards. He also had 2 receptions for 6 yards. So he was okay, you know. But outside of our top 3 wide receivers, Logan Thomas had 1 reception for 6 yards. And that's pretty much the nature of the game right there. What I did not like was that Curtis Samuel got way too many carries. Curtis Samuel had 5 carries. Why is it you get into the red zone, you get into a place where you can score, and then you're running Curtis Samuel? I mean, you're running Curtis Samuel inside the 10. You're running Curtis Samuel inside the red zone. It's stupid. There was a stat that came up, and they had the number of rush attempts that Brian Robinson has had in the red zone. It's disgusting. I can't even tell you guys what that number is. Number 1, I can't find that stat. Number 2, I don't even want to tell you guys. It's disgusting the way that Scott Turner uses his personnel. At first it was, we didn't have the wide receivers. You got the wide receivers, you don't use them correctly. Then it's, we needed a big running back, a bruising running back. You have one, and you only give him 12 carries in the game where he's averaging 7.4 yards per carry. Scott Turner's trash. I've said it, and I'm going to continue to say it. You know, yes, it's wrong calling another grown man trash, but it just is what it is. I don't get paid for this. I'm just a fan expressing my frustration. And then it was so funny because on the Back Row Command Twitter page, I had a fan who came after me. And the fan was like, stop critiquing. he said, stop critiquing and just be a fan. That's what us fans do. A lot of us fans are fan analysts, right? We are fanalists, right? A lot of us. We critique. It's what we do. When we're mad, we express our frustration. The team has been bad. I mean, I'm sick and tired of going 7 wins every single year. Because for number 1, when you go 7 wins, you don't get a good draft pick, right? So it's like a lot of stuff that's going on through my mind while this game is going on. I mean, I was just so pissed. Man, Dave Robb, man, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you, brother. Dave Robb says, yeah, I agree. Yeah, man, it was just so frustrating watching this game and watching how Scott Turner is using these guys. Not only did Taylor Heinicke fumble twice and he lost both fumbles, Antonio Gibson also fumbled, but thank God it was recovered. Brian Robinson also fumbled. So that's 4 total fumbles. 2 were recovered by us. Sorry, 2 were recovered by us. 2 were recovered by the other team. Then you look at the defense, right? Bobby McCain had 11 tackles. Okay, Jamin Davis 9, Danny Johnson 8, and so on and so forth. Like the passing game wasn't really the problem. Tackle for loss, 1 tackle for loss by Jonathan Allen. I mean, we had a lot of tackles because we were able to contain these guys, both them carrying the ball and them getting all these short passes. I mean, for Daniel Jones to throw 21, passes and only get 160 yards, that means there were a lot of screen passes, a lot of bubble screens, a lot of short passes, and these targets didn't go for long. Now there were some big gains where Richie James caught a 15-yard pass, a 19-yarder by Isaiah Hodges, a 15-yarder by Nick Vannett. So yeah, they did have a few big plays, but at the end of the day, defense played well enough to win the game. Offense did everything that they could to lose the game. Now, I want to make an argument between Taylor Heinicke and Carson Wentz. One thing I can say is that Taylor Heinicke is not the answer. Now, you can also say Carson Wentz is not the answer as well, but then, correct me if I'm wrong, Carson Wentz have not gotten the type of opportunity that Taylor Heinicke has gotten because of injury. Now, I had a debate going on my Twitter page, and it was pretty much highlighting Taylor Heinicke and then also highlighting Carson Wentz. Here's the problem. Taylor Heinicke, I love Taylor Heinicke. Taylor Heinicke has heart. He has passion. He does what he can to help his team win, right? But then when you have a guy like Carson Wentz, right? Carson Wentz is an NFL quarterback. He can make every single throw. That's one thing that I can say that Carson Wentz can do. He can make every single throw, right? Now, he does make those throws that make you scratch your head, but then so does Taylor Heinicke. Taylor Heinicke, every game, has 3 or 4 passes that should be interceptions. But for some reason, there's a higher power above that's looking out for him to where these passes are not caught as interceptions, if we're being real. Taylor Heinicke does have heart. He does have that kind of Doug Flutie type magic. He has some kind of magic that kind of helps him navigate, during games. He scrambles. Taylor Heinicke makes the offensive line better than what it actually is. The offensive line is ultra trash. The offensive line has struggled over and over and over again. So, yes, Taylor Heinicke does make that offensive line a little bit better. But my thing was, in the Giants game, when Taylor Heinicke actually had time to throw the ball, he could not make these passes. He was not effective. For example, there was a play to Curtis Samuel. And let me see. I think it was a 27-yard pass. Now, you can say, oh, Taylor Heinicke had longs of 27, 18, 20, 61. Outside of that 61, some of these chunk plays are either underthrown balls or you throw it to your guy, he catches the ball, and he creates the rest with his feet, right? So when you're looking at it, it's like, yes, Taylor Heinicke made some plays, but it's like he couldn't make the plays when he needed to make the plays. For example, when Curtis Samuel was on the right, he was going down. Had Taylor Heinicke, if he throws that ball in stride, Curtis Samuel just walks into the end zone, literally. But because the ball is so underthrown, Curtis Samuel is running, then has to slow down because he's so fast just to catch the ball, and he goes out of bounds. So it's like he had time. But then when you compare a side-by-side play, there was a play that Carson Wentz threw the ball to Terry McLaurin in stride, and Terry was able to catch that ball and walk right into the end zone. So, I mean, these are just some of the things that I'm witnessing, as a fan. Like I said, I'm just a fan that's frustrated, and I just happen to have a platform where I have a podcast. So, Dave Robb says the O-line is to blame for most of Wentz's failures, in my opinion. I agree. Like I said, the offensive line was so bad then, and it's still so bad now. So it's just not the offensive line. Yes, it's the offensive line. But remember, when Carson Wentz was starting, he did not have defense like this. He didn't have a run game. Remember, Brian Robinson Jr. missed the first 4 to 6 games. So a lot has changed. My whole argument, hey, what's good, Awesome in Sports? My whole argument is you can put Carson Wentz in the game right now, even with the limited offensive line. If Carson Wentz has a second or two, he can make the NFL throw. That's all I'm saying. Taylor Heinicke cannot make the NFL throw. When he throws the ball, it takes the ball a while to make it to the wide receiver. Those are just some of the differences. Taylor Heinicke is one of the best backups in the league. He might be the best backup quarterback in the NFL. And you know what? I give him that. I love Taylor Heinicke. I love him as a player. I love him as a human being. But what I'm saying is, it might be time to go to Carson Wentz. Do not be surprised if Taylor Heinicke is playing. The offensive line is going to be bad. Yes, San Fran is going to send a plethora of rushers after Taylor Heinicke comes Saturday. Come tomorrow. I looked it up. It's going to be 3 o'clock my time. I'm excited for the game. I can't say that I'm so excited for the game. First of all, I'm possibly going to be with family. Don't know where we're going to be. We're going to have some, family festivities going on. Am I really going to have time to watch the game? Do I really want to watch the game and be pissed off that we're losing and then be in the midst of family kind of pissed off? So I have a lot of decisions to make regarding this team. Dave Robb says, to hit Dotson the other night, TH4 threw it to the moon. He did throw it to the moon. And you know what? I loved that pass. He threw it up, and look, he just prayed that Dotson came up with it. The good thing about the wide receivers for the Commanders, even though that they're all smallish, you throw it up, Curtis Samuel will go up and get it. Dotson will go up and get it, and we know Terry goes up and gets it. So he threw it up to the moon, like you said, and it just happened to wind up in Dotson's hands. And if Dotson was a little bit bigger, stronger, he breaks away from that tackle, he scores a touchdown, and maybe I come back on this pod, and guess what? I'm just as excited as all get out. I'm not saying anything negative, but sometimes it's good to be negative. Sometimes you just gotta just be real. Like, I'm not saying that you guys have to agree with everything that I'm saying. All I'm saying is that, the team is bad. Steve-O, what's good, man? Appreciate you hopping on the stream. Steve-O says Wentz would get hurt versus the 49ers. He might. But guess what? Before he gets hurt, I also feel that Wentz can make those throws. So I'm going to get into the Pro Bowl selections in a minute. But shout out to Terry McLaurin, man. This guy continues to go through mediocrity at the quarterback position, and he continues to produce every single year. This will make it 3 straight years of 1,000 yards receiving for Terry McLaurin, and I think he would have more touchdowns if he had better quarterbacks. Also, if Terry didn't get hurt in year 1, I think he missed like 2 games. Had he played one of those 2 games, he definitely gets another 1,000-yard season, making it 4 straight to start his career. The way that Terry has started his career right now, it reminds me a lot about Mike Evans. I'm not saying Mike Evans in terms of scoring touchdowns or Mike Evans in terms of his height and the way he plays. Mike Evans has gotten 1,000 yards every single year of his career, and Terry just one of those kind of guys. Regardless of who the quarterback is, regardless of who the weapons around him are, he just continues to be a constant professional. And also, let's talk about the pass interference play. But before that, Terry lines up, right? He looks at the ref. He's like, ref, hey, am I lined up? Am I good to go? The ref says, yeah. He gives him a thumbs up twice, right? The minute that they say hike and he makes his move, the guy throws the flag. So it was like he was baiting him. It almost seemed like he wanted to throw the flag. So Terry's asking him, he's saying, yeah, you're lined up correctly. You're good. You're this and that. He already has his hand on the flag. I understand the refs have to have their hands on the flag. But the minute he moved, he threw that flag. It was like he literally set him up. But like I said, other than that, and then the pass interference, man. Look, we all know that it was a pass interference. They didn't call it. But I was not even mad about the pass interference. I was more mad about the Terry call than the pass interference. Because at the end of the day, Taylor Heinicke fumbles the ball at the 1-yard line, gives the Giants, an extra 7 points. Then he fumbles again. So if we took care of the ball, we most likely win this game. You subtract that 7, they have 13 points. All you have to do at this point is kick a field goal, and you possibly win this game. We had this game won. I mean, we still are limiting teams from scoring. It's tough for teams to score. But I'm going to go ahead and transition to this game tomorrow. You have the 49ers coming into town. And Brock Purdy has been nice, okay? He's just a rookie that was drafted, the dead last pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. He's become very relevant. And it goes with, okay, Brock Purdy's playing well. Why don't you put Sam Howell in? I'm going to say this. We can say a lot of things about the coaching staff and Scott Turner and these evaluators. One thing I will say is these evaluators know more than I know. So they're seeing Sam Howell in practice every single day. There's a reason why Sam Howell has not beaten out guys like Carson Wentz and even Taylor Heinicke. If you go Sam Howell right now because you have to play him, you're playing him because you're out of contention, okay? Yes, you can make an argument that Sam Howell can make the same throws that Taylor Heinicke can make and even better. But then you can also say that Howell doesn't have the experience. That's what it all boiled down to. Had he had the experience, maybe he's in the game. Now, definitely next year, he's definitely going to be a guy that will have a shot at starting. I see the team adding a vet and possibly adding a rookie in the draft, possibly. But it just all depends on who the vet is. Don't be surprised if you see Taylor Heinicke back. Don't be surprised if you see the same 3 quarterbacks back. And I'm going to be pissed off if I see the same 3 guys in the quarterback room. That just means we're going to be we're going to be a mid-team once again, a team that's struggling to get 7 wins. Steve-O says, worst reffing weekend since replacement refs. Absolutely, man. It was awful. And it just wasn't against us. It was against everybody. And here's another reason why I wasn't even mad at the refs deciding the game. Yes, they decided the game and we lost the game potentially because of the refs. But the way that I look at it is during that Eagles game, when we beat the Eagles, there was a lot of calls that the refs did not get right on our end, and I was excited. So you got to take it. I mean, it goes both ways. They blew a lot of calls in the Eagles game in our favor, and this was karma. This was karma. It was going to come back and bite us, and it just came back to bite us in the biggest game of the year. It hurts. It sucks, but it just is what it is. The refs are always trash for the most part, and they make these decisions that ruin us sometimes. If you guys are watching me for the first time, please subscribe. Please like the channel. Please share the channel. And also, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcast, The Back Row Commander Show. And I told you guys, The Back Row Commander Show is going to have a new name, possibly in 2 weeks. So be on the lookout for that. But as we dive more into this 49ers game, the 49ers are stacked defensively. And I'm telling you guys, they scare the mess out of me because I felt the 49ers were the best team in the NFC. This is before anything. The minute they landed Christian McCaffrey, I said it's either Super Bowl or bust for the 49ers. I said it. And that was with Jimmy Garoppolo, coming in, and then Christian McCaffrey. They are stacked defensively. Offensively, they got pieces. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the perfect offense, but that system creates the perfect offense. You have George Kittle. Who's covering him? You have Christian McCaffrey, one of the best receiver running backs to ever live. You have Brandon Ayuk, very good wide receiver. You have Deebo Samuel, but he's hurt right now. So all I'm saying is they have the pieces. They are similar to the Commanders. They have the pieces on offense to be one of the best offenses of all time. If they had a quarterback that can carry the team when the team is struggling, they don't have that. There was a time when they could have traded everything to get Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay didn't want to give up Aaron Rodgers. Maybe there's a scenario where the 49ers trade Trey Lance for Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying. They were willing to give 3 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers. Would they still do that if they happen to miss the Super Bowl? This is a Super Bowl chance. Even with a Brock Purdy, he's been solid. Look, the kid can play. He's been solid. Let's look a little bit more into what the 49ers do well. They run the ball very well, right? You have Christian McCaffrey, who has 534 yards this year, 4 touchdowns. Real solid. And then we're not even talking about what he does on the receiving end. You have Brandon Ayuk, who has 777 yards, 74 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. To be honest, that's right on par with what Terry McLaurin gives you. If we're being honest, he has 60 receptions. He has over 700 yards. The touchdown number is something that Terry needs to do more of. He needs to score more. And they just have to find out a way to get Terry more involved. You have a Jahan Dotson who leads the team in touchdowns. He has a knack for the end zone. So what is it that Jahan Dotson is doing well to score that Terry isn't? But then again, you can say Terry's going against the number 1 corners. You can say that Jahan Dotson is going against the number 2s and number 3s. Whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, Jahan Dotson knows how to get into the end zone. The Commanders need to work on this red zone offense. 12 points is not going to cut it. Scoring under 20 points is not going to cut it. 15 points, 16 points. I don't even know how many points a game that the Commanders are averaging right now, but you're going to have to score. In order to beat the 49ers tomorrow, you would need to score 21 points. I don't know where the points are going to come from. The 49ers, you have a better chance throwing on them than running on them. You're not going to run much on these guys, but opportunistic football if we have a chance to get a 3rd and 1, Brian Robinson should do well. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, those kinds of situations at the goal line. If Brian Robinson gets the ball, I like his chances at scoring. It's going to be one of those games where Brian Robinson Jr. might carry the ball 24 times for like 88 yards. And that's the kind of game it's going to be if Brian Robinson Jr. is used correctly. You're going to need a lot of volume. You do have Chase Young coming back, but Chase Young is going to be in on obvious passing downs. We all remember the game versus the 49ers 2 years ago where Chase Young hit the guy fumbled. I think he picked it up, scooped it, ran to the end zone, scored. That was also, I don't know if that was the same game that Cameron Curl scored a touchdown as well. But either way it goes, we typically play the 49ers pretty well. But what scares me is Taylor Heinicke. And I'm telling you guys right now, if Taylor Heinicke does not produce in the first half, why is it that the Commanders always start out slow? They start out down. Okay, they go 3 and out. They punt the ball. The other team gets the ball. Sometimes they score on their first drive, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, and then you're already in a deficit, right? Then you try, you don't get it, and then it just becomes a spiral thing. It's just spirals out of control. So what is it that Scott Turner can do to help Taylor Heinicke? I really don't know. They have tried this like the screen game, right? Sometimes it works. Sometimes they get away from it. What I would say is I don't like to see Curtis Samuel running the ball. That's gotten old. Teams have figured it out. They know when you see Curtis Samuel, when he's being motioned, you know what's coming. He's going to get the ball, and he's going to go nowhere. Those typically don't end up too well. Every now and again, he gets a 10-yard here or there, but, those have to stop. If you have a good running back like Brian Robinson Jr., I'd rather him get those extra carries than the Curtis Samuel. And then another thing I want to see done is I want to see Taylor Heinicke run the ball more. I want to see Taylor Heinicke with these run pass whatever options, those RPOs have to stop. Taylor Heinicke's getting the wrong read every single time. It's like, did you have eyes? There were times when he's supposed to keep it and run, he gives it to the guy, or he's going the wrong way. So it's more than just the offensive line being bad or just Taylor Heinicke not being able to make the throws. I think that the league knows what Taylor Heinicke does well, and they've taken that away. When was the last time that Taylor Heinicke drops back to pass and goes through his reads and then takes off? He hasn't done that in a while. Like the things that make Taylor Heinicke special, he doesn't even do it. When he tries to scramble, there was a play he had to try to scramble and score, and he trips. Like, this is not the Taylor Heinicke that we all know and love. So at the end of the day, it's just not working out. So why not go Carson Wentz? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Wentz has – I know Steve-O has expressed his thoughts. Steve-O says, hey, Wentz gets hurt versus the 49ers. My whole thing is, like, you got 2 to 3 seconds to read the defense and make a play. The way that Taylor Heinicke reads the defense and the amount of time that the ball spends in the air, it's scary. It's scary. So hoping for the best, but I will not be surprised if they lost to the 49ers. I will not be surprised if they lost to the Browns and even lost to Dallas. Then again, I will not be surprised if they won all 3 games. The Commanders are in a position to win all 3 games and then to also lose out on all 3 games. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going into tomorrow with no expectations. Can they win? Yes. Can they lose? Yes. Will the defense step up? If the defense steps up and keeps these guys around 15 to 17 points, then we're on to something, right? One thing is for sure, the 49ers cannot get to 20 points. Also, it could be whichever team that gets to 20 points first most likely wins this game. So that's that. Let's go ahead and talk about the Pro Bowl. So I want to start with Terry McLaurin, right? This guy right here has been a constant professional since he's coming to the league. He's played with good quarterbacks. He's played with trash quarterbacks. He's played with journeymen. He's played with people that are solid. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to, say this guy is this guy is that. But he's played with every quarterback known to man. It seems like Terry has had 10 quarterbacks or 20, 25 even. But year one, 919 yards. Like I said, if he didn't miss those 2 games, he definitely gets 1,000 yards. And that was his best year even scoring the ball. He had 7 touchdowns. So the team needs to go back and look at the way that Terry was scoring. He was used in the red zone. I remember like a Green Bay game, he made a crazy catch. I remember, like that first year, he caught a bomb versus the Eagles in his very first game. He should have had 2 bombs, actually. But Case Keenum, being a quarterback, messed him up. So everything for Terry, I mean, this year he might end up, I'm praying, with 5 touchdowns, maybe. Terry needs to get to 5 touchdowns if the team has any chance of making the playoffs. Let's just go ahead and call it what it is. 3 games left. You can't tell me that Terry can't get 2 touchdowns in 3 games. It's imperative that he gets to 5 touchdowns. Is it important? Nah. Now, what I will say is that this year, Terry might have career high in yards. Right now, he's at 1,015. Last year, he was at 1,053. And mind you, he's had more targets those last 2 years. He had 134 in year 2, 130 in year 3. Now, with 3 games left, can Terry get to a good 26 targets? I think he can. So he's on par once again for 130 targets, right? Now, this might be a year where he gets to 1,200 yards. It's very much in reach. So in 3 games, Terry should be able to average somewhere around 70 yards per game, okay? So he's made the Pro Bowl. I mean, he's up there when it comes to, yards in the league. I think he's like number 9. He's 9th in the league, in the entire league, in yards, okay? With 3 more games left. So you got to give him credit there. Terry is on his thing. He's been a Pro Bowler for years, and he finally gets the recognition. Number 1, the Commanders have been playing some meaningful football, right? They've been playing some games that actually matter. And now it's like, okay, we're recognizing who Terry is. And I'm glad he made the Pro Bowl. Like, he's up there with guys like CeeDee Lamb, even guys like Jefferson. Yes, Jefferson is like up here, and Terry's like down here, but he's still one of those kinds of guys. Now, Stephon Diggs was on the level where Terry is now when he was with Minnesota. When Stephon Diggs left Minnesota and went to a team like Buffalo and played with an elite quarterback, now you're talking about Diggs on the same level as a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. Those are the 4, right? So just imagine if Terry had that kind of quarterback. What is it going to take to get one of these kinds of quarterbacks? I don't know. I really don't know. But shout out to Terry for making the Pro Bowl, his first of many Pro Bowls. Tress Way made the Pro Bowl. Shout out to him. How can you not love Tress Way and what he brings to the table? This is a guy that is a major weapon for you, that can flip the field for you. He pins guys inside the 10, inside the 20, and then he gives your defense a chance to go ahead and fight, close them out, and get the ball back at the 50-yard line. That is what Tress Way does for you each and every single week. So shout out to Tress Way, okay? The next guy I want to acknowledge is Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen is playing at an all-pro level. It's kind of sad that Daron Payne didn't make it, but we're going to go ahead and get to Daron Payne in a minute. So when I'm looking at a guy like Jonathan Allen, he has shown that he's legit, right? He's a starter. He is a Pro Bowl starter. That just tells you how good he's been. He's now on that level that Aaron Donald was on. Now, of course, Aaron Donald is, elite status. I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but I'm saying Aaron Donald is here. Jonathan Allen is like right here. The drop-off isn't much in terms of production and what Jonathan Allen actually means to this team. Jonathan Allen is the Aaron Donald for the Commanders. Whether you agree, whether you don't agree, let me know. If I'm not making any sense, let me know in the comment section. This is how I feel. I think that Jonathan Allen is a very, very good player. And each year he's elevating this game. This could be the year that Jonathan Allen makes an all-pro team. Name 3 defensive tackles right now that are better than Jonathan Allen outside of Aaron Donald. We're going to say Chris Jones. We're going to say Buckner. Jonathan Allen is better than those 2 guys, especially this year. So I think this is the year that Jonathan Allen makes that all-pro team. But also, while I'm looking at Jonathan Allen, he leads the team, or I think let me see who leads the team in sacks. It's either him or Payne. Give me 1 second. So Jonathan Allen is at 7.5 sacks, right? 16 tackles for losses to 15 of Daron Payne. Daron Payne leads the team. He's at 8.5. But at the end of the day, it's like Daron Payne gets love off of what Jonathan Allen gives you every single week. So that's kind of why with Jonathan Allen, it's kind of going off of what he did last year, spilling into this year. And then this is Daron Payne's first year, doing his thing. So Dave Robb is right. Yes, Daron Payne does lead the team in sacks with 8.5. It would be so awesome if Daron Payne can get to 10 sacks this year. That would be so awesome. That's going to be a slap in the face of Daniel Snyder and the rest of this front office that you got to pay my man Daron Payne. You cannot let talent like this walk out the window. The last guy that I want to talk about before I get back into Daron Payne and Allen is shout out to what's his name? So we talked about Tress Way, Jonathan Allen, and Terry. Jeremy Reeves. Jeremy Reeves made the Pro Bowl. This is a guy that has been cut so many times, a guy that's not supposed to be in the NFL, and he's just found a way to find a way. This guy has found a way to make the team, and I'm so happy for this guy. He deserves it. He's been great. He's been amazing. He's been a special teams ace. Not only that, he's going to be a starter, man. He's going to be a starter. Made the Pro Bowl. The video was just so emotional. I'm going to try to find that and share it. That was just one of the best moments that I've seen was, Ron Rivera letting the team know that they've made the Pro Bowl. And it was just so touching, man. It was just so touching just to kind of see somebody work so hard for something that they believe in, something that they crave. And that's to play in the National Football League, to where he's made his mother proud. Shout out to Jaret Patterson. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Jaret Patterson, if you're watching. But yes, also shout out to Jahan Dotson for being the Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week, man. Rookie of the Week with 4 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. Big stuff right there. Also, the team has signed Wes Martin from the practice squad to the main squad, and they have released Dejon Harris, linebacker. Also, game status for Week 16, Cameron Curl and Benjamin St-Juste are both questionable for Week 16. I'm hoping that both guys play. I'm telling you guys right now, Purdy is decent. If Cam Curl and Benjamin St-Juste do not play, it could get ugly for this defense with Chase Young or no Chase Young. It doesn't even matter. You're going to need all hands on deck. But I'm looking for this video, and I found the video, and I'm about to share it. Let me go ahead and pause it. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. We got an OG in the building. We got Roger Smith in the building. Roger says, for real, Jeremy can play. He's just a smaller dude. He has, and Roger, I've always remembered you talking about how well Jeremy Reeves has played, and he played well as a starter. So our safety room is so nice. It is so crazy that Cameron Curl and Forrest did not receive Pro Bowl considerations at all. It's crazy. It's just so crazy how deep our safety room really is. And Bobby McCain is okay, but he's going to be expendable at the end of the year. And I also want to talk about some guys that I feel are going to be expendable. And you guys let me know if you guys believe what I'm saying or with me or not with me. But before we do that, here is the video with Ron Rivera and his team as he announces the Pro Bowl to several players. Here it is.
Sure, okay.
Ooh, my bad, Coach. Sorry about that.
Give me a second, Jim.
I didn't even knock. I apologize. What's up, Coach?
Hey,
How you doing?
Listen, congratulations, you're a Pro Bowl player.
Oh my gosh, you got me.
No, congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Coach.
Very proud, very happy.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Pro Bowl player.
Oh, dope. That's
Yes,
what's up.
you are, man. I'm proud of you.
Sir.
Congratulations. You knew, didn't you?
I had a feeling.
You,
I ain't wanna hide.
you know, you showed everybody why
Yeah.
you're the face of our franchise.
I appreciate that, Coach.
No,
Thanks
proud
for
of you,
telling me.
man.
Yes, sir.
Jonathan Allen,
Cool.
Tress Way,
Nice.
and Jeremy Reeves.
That's big time. Reeves got in?
Yeah,
That's what's up. He deserves it.
He's the special
He's a
teams
difference
guy.
maker. He's been a difference maker
Yeah.
all year for us.
I'm only going to tell you one other guy. Okay.
Okay.
And
Can I
that's
ask who?
Yeah.
Who?
Jeremy.
Oh my
Now,
God!
but you can't say anything. Okay. I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna talk to him right after his defensive meeting.
Oh hell no! Pull him out of that, man. Are you kidding me? Could you? I wanna be here when you tell him. I'll hide, but like,
Okay.
can I be here when you tell Reeves?
Yeah, you can. I'm happy to have you here. You, Jeremy. Yeah. Don't mind him. We're just finished. I got to finish that up a second. But listen, congratulations. You're the Pro Bowl special teams guy. You're the starter. You earned it, young man. Everything you've done. And I know your mom would be proud. You earned it, young man.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yo, he wouldn't stop.
Congrats, dude.
Love you too.
All right.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Nah, you earned it. Like I said, man. I just appreciate you trusting me.
Always, Coach.
Nah.
Told you I went to a brick wall for you.
No, I know you would too. Well, I appreciate you. I'm very proud of you. I really am. Nah, you earned it, young man. You earned it. That's freaking awesome.
Man, that was amazing, man. I mean, that's what it's all about. And Timeout Sports says hard work pays off, have to keep grinding. And that's what it is, man. You have a guy who was out the league, who nobody really trusted. I mean, who was not supposed to be in the league, and he just continues to fight. And then he finds a role. Obviously, you want to be a starter, but the special teams is what's going to get you a nod in the Pro Bowl and being recognized and this and that. And I mean, you can make a living off of playing special teams, and that's what Jim Reeves was able to do. Also, we have Montez Sweat and Daron Payne, who also received Pro Bowl nods in terms of being alternates. So let's say, for example, a team is in the playoffs and they can't play in the Pro Bowl because of, Super Bowl, whatever. Then you have Montez Sweat and even Payne that can go ahead and enter. I think that both guys most likely end up in the Pro Bowl game. For one, I don't see us playing for the Super Bowl, so there's a chance to where both guys get in. And then with injuries, sometimes people just decline to go all together. So that's just great acknowledgement for both guys, even if they don't end up getting into that game. It just shows you this is one of the most talented teams that the Commanders have had in years. So here's what has come to be of this team. You have Chase Young, who have made a Pro Bowl team, right? Rookie year. You have Jonathan Allen, 2-time Pro Bowl. You have Daron Payne, who could potentially get into the game this year as an alternate. You have Montez Sweat, who might get in this year as an alternate. That's all four guys on that defensive line. Got to find a way to pay all four guys. I don't care what you need to do. You got to pay your homegrown talent. You got to pay the guys that you draft. These are the kind of guys that you try to go get in free agency, and you drafted them. So you got to pay. I don't care about, you're investing too much into the defensive line. That's what it is. If the defensive line got to be solid for the back end of the defense to not be solid, then that's what you got to do. If you got to draft more rookies and some cheap vets to fill in as corners and safeties and whatever, that's what you got to do. So you got to make it work. You have to find a way to go ahead and sign all these different guys. Dave Robb says that Jeremy Reeves, he was a Gruden guy too. And that's surprising. I'm glad that he was a Gruden guy. But it's pretty awesome, man, for this team. So back to the team. You have a wide receiving core. This trio is better than the Deshaun Jackson, Jamison Crowder, and Pierre Garçon group, to me. The only difference with that receiving group is that they had Jordan Reed, okay? Yes, you had Kirk Cousins, who was a good quarterback. I love Kirk Cousins. Some fans don't like Kirk Cousins, but had we still had Kirk Cousins, I don't think that we'll be in the same position that we are now. I mean, that's debatable. That's a debate topic. Also, you have an overall defense, even the back end, with St. Juice and Fuller and, Derek Forrest and Cameron Curl. These two young safeties that we drafted, this defense is so talented. I cannot remember the last time that we had a team this talented. Even the running back duo. This might be the best running back duo. I'm not saying the best running back. The best running back duo that the team has had since Stephen Davis and Skip Hicks. Can anybody name a better duo? Clinton Portis and Alfred Morris. And to me, this is a very talented running back room. They're all young. They all play hard. They all play tough. And I have a feeling that we add another running back next year, making this thing a three-headed running back attack. Yes, you have J.D. McKissick. I think he becomes expendable. I'm going to get to the players that I think are going to be expendable before the end of the year. Roger Smith says we would be Super Bowl contenders with Kurt. I agree. You take Kurt and you add him to this team, you're talking Super Bowl. This team is so good that we are literally a quarterback away. It is time to start saying that the Commanders are a quarterback away. Yes, you need to shore up that offensive line. You need to do a little bit of tweaking here and there on the defense. I mean, on the defensive side in terms of linebacker, and maybe you add another corner, maybe another safety. But this is the best team that we've had. You add a left guard or right guard, move some guys around, and you got something on the offensive line. What I would say for the offensive line is you need to, number one, get rid of Logan Thomas. It's time to let Logan Thomas go. At the cost, the production is not matching what we're getting out of Logan Thomas. People say, oh, well, Logan Thomas, he's just a mismatch. He's not that much of a mismatch. He's just a guy that's schemed open, that catches passes, has decent hands. But Logan Thomas he had that one good year. He's been unreliable. He's been hurt ever since then, right? Would he ever be that same Logan Thomas that we got, 2 years ago? I don't know. You can get rid of Logan Thomas. You can draft a guy like Mayer in the first round, or you can go ahead and find you a veteran tight end. There are so many veteran tight ends. Not only that, we had a chance at Evan Ingram. The same Evan Ingram that everybody said is this and that, and the only knock on Evan Ingram was his health. The talent is there. And Evan Ingram is right now one of the best tight ends in the NFL today. We saw what he did last night. He's had a heck of a nice 3-week stretch. Evan Ingram is going to be the tight end for the future for the Jags, and we could have had him for the cheap, and we didn't. Let me get to these comments just a little bit. I hope JD retires. He's hurt his neck enough. Yeah, JD McKissick needs to retire, or he needs to be off this team. JD McKissick is one of those expendable guys. Along with Logan Thomas, JD McKissick, I'm sorry. Thanks for all that you've done. It's time to go. JD has neck problems. He may retire. He should. I think it's bad enough to possibly paralyze him. Oh, man, if it's that bad, he needs to definitely retire. Roger Smith says Logan is washed. Yes, I agree. He is definitely washed. We don't need a tight end. Okay, you might say that we don't need a tight end, but the tight end room right now is not good. Cole Turner is not there. You need a tight end that can catch and block. That's why you go get you one of these guys if you can. But, hey, I still say go through the draft, get you a complete tight end that does two things, both blocking and both receiving. I mean, you can rock with what you have and say, okay, when Amani Rodgers comes in, we know it's a pass play. When this guy comes in, we know it's a run play. Why not get a guy that does both and kind of confuse the enemy, right? Dave Robb says Thomas rushed his knee. He did rush his knee, but at the same time, I think that Thomas might be done. He might be done. He says, yeah, Ingram and Hooper will be free agents. If you can make a run at Evan Ingram, you take the money that you're paying Logan Thomas and you pay Evan Ingram. That's how you fix it. I'm sorry. Logan Thomas, money plus production is not matching out for me at all. Roger says, Rodgers, Bates, Turner, Hodges. We're good at tight ends. 3 are rookies. I get it, but when I look at this group as a whole, I'm like, man, they don't scare me. They don't impress me. They have some talent, but it's like, okay, let's see if they take a step. If they take a step next year, cool. If not, I mean, you got to address that position, man. I just need a guy that does a little bit of everything, and it doesn't have to be a super guy. A guy like Austin Hooper on the cheap, it's perfect. to add with some of these guys, because not all these guys are going to make it. You know what I'm saying? Out of these guys, I like Armani Rogers, obviously Bates, and then give me one of these guys between Hodges and Turner. It really doesn't matter. Turner has not been what I was expecting out of that tight end position. Maybe it's quarterback, maybe it's Scott Turner. Whatever the case may be, I have not been impressed with this tight end group whatsoever. Roger Smith says going into next year, they'll be even better. I hope so. I hope you're right. So Logan Thomas for me, J.D. McKissick. Another guy is Bobby McCain. I think his time in D.C. is almost at the end. I would love to see, of course, Cameron Curl come back, Cole Holcomb come back. But there's some pieces here and there that are definitely expendable. Those two old guards that they brought to DC need to go. Trey Turner and Norvell, they need to go. I am done with those guys. Somebody in the quarterback room has to go. I don't want to see these same three quarterbacks again. I'm sorry. Maybe we keep Howell. Maybe we keep Heineke. Maybe, or at the end of the day, we need a new quarterback coming into DC. If not the franchise guy, then it's going to be a guy who comes in and adds value to what we already have. There are some changes that need to be made. Since Rodgers is a beast, he was getting better with blocking. Then he got hurt. I like Rodgers a lot. Out of all the tight ends that we have, Rodgers is the only one that I'm excited about. That's it. Rodgers, I like Rodgers. Hodges is like 6'8". The only problem is that Hodges hasn't really gotten on the field because of how deep the tight end room is. So I don't know. Maybe we might be good at tight end. Maybe I'm being too hard on these guys, but something needs to shake. Okay, it says we got to improve the LB position. Bingo. That's one thing that we definitely need to improve. And I'm okay with letting Cole Holcomb go. If you can get an upgrade over Cole Holcomb, bye Cole. It just is what it is. I have no emotional attachments to any of our players. Maybe Terry. But there's just certain guys that you just cannot let go, right? But then there's certain guys that if you can get an upgrade, you go ahead and do it. It says the problem is the OC didn't run enough 12 personnel formations to have both move tight ends or one plus Bates. I feel you. Like I said, Scott Turner is definitely another guy that's expendable. Scott Turner got to go. I'm sorry. Scott Turner got to go. It was almost Del Rio, but Del Rio did some nice things as the season progressed and adjusted. The problem between Del Rio and Scott Turner is that Del Rio adjusted and Scott Turner has not. So definitely something has to shake. It says, Turner, Norvell, says should take Wes Martin for a walk and then go. Yeah, man, definitely. I'm sick and tired of seeing Wes Martin. I'm sick and tired of seeing any Martins. Wes White should stay, but the team definitely needs a lot of tweaking in certain areas. It says Turner is the worst OT in the league. Bingo. I agree with that statement. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream here, man. This was a great stream, great show. I appreciate everybody that was in the chat. This is the Back Row Commander Show. New name coming in 2 weeks. Also, I hope we win tomorrow versus the 49ers. Appreciate all the love. Appreciate all the support. Be sure to subscribe to the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to the Back Row Commander Show anywhere that you get your podcast. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next episode. Hail to the Commanders, man. Let's get it. Let's get this win. See y'all next week.